Alright, Nuka Knights, the 4th day of the OSL round of 16. Only 2 more days left after this, and then it's on to the round of 8. But today's matchup is in Group A is going to be Kwanro versus Kal on match point. Kal is already 1-0 in this group, and Kwanro is 0-1, so Kwanro is kind of fighting for his livelihood. Actually made a little digital sheet, I'm looking at it on my screen right now, but a who's screwed, who's not so screwed score sheet, because today's games will potentially be very important. Some games might decide the groups. Some games might decide whether players get knocked out, whether they're guaranteed to move up. So I'll definitely lay that out inside the game for each of the matchups today. Okay, 2-player map. Kal looks so strong against Taiva. I'm wondering if he can bring the same level of multitasking to this one as well. Except, okay, down at the 8 o'clock position in blue is Kwanro, so it means up at the 2 o'clock position in purple is Gujela, or Kal for short. That's the abbreviation of Gujela, it's Kal. Makes sense. But okay, here is my who's screwed, who's not so screwed score sheet for this group, Group A. So okay, if Kal wins this matchup, he'll almost be guaranteed to move out. There is a possibility that he'll fall into an upper rung tiebreaker with both Flash and Hiva, but the only way that would happen is if next week the first matchup will be Flash versus Kal. So if Flash wins that, he'll have 2 wins, 1 loss. Kal will have 2 wins, 1 loss if he wins, and then Hiva will have to beat Flash, and then they'll all have 2 wins, 1 loss. Kwanro won't be in the equation at all, but then they'll have that tiebreaker. That is the only way that Kal would not move out if he won this matchup. But if Kwanro wins this, he'll be 1-1, and he'll tie the entire group at 1-1. So that'll make it very exciting, because the next 2 matchups next week, both will be critical. The winners of both of those will move out. So the winner of Kal versus Flash, moving up. The winner of Kwanro versus Hiva, moving up as well. So that would be a very exciting little series. Guaranteed another Zerg player in the round of 8 if that happens. But yes, I'd say pretty much all the matchups today are very, very high stakes. So now it's starting to get exciting. Next week might be a little bit more exciting, of course, since it is the last week. I'd say day 5 is usually the deciding day. Day 6 usually see either useless matchups or matchups that end up being tiebreakers or something like that. But okay, Kal, Gujela, the Gujela probe is still in, trying to deny this hatchery. Of course, you're going to try that as long as possible. Let's see if Kwanro is getting very annoyed. Oh, wow, still denying this hatchery. Kal has done an excellent job recently with his PVZ, just denying hatcheries. And his multitasking skills especially have just been top-notch. Just watching his game against Hiva, he was dropping 2 different places at once. So scary with Reavers and everything like that. I'd say his Protoss versus Zerg play is starting to rival Movies a little bit. We'll see if he can be as consistently good as Movie is or not. But, okay, Kwanro, he has not put down his gas yet, so he's going to take that 3rd expansion. And Kwanro, definitely known as an extremely aggressive player. Usually don't see him get the Hive Tech, but there are a few exceptions. And I think I've only seen him win with Hive Tech once, and that was on Eye of the Storm. I forget the Simpsons. I'm speechless. But Kwanro, I saw him win against some player on Eye of the Storm, going for ultras off of 4 bases. But as far as that goes, usually Kwanro, he ends it before he gets to Hive. And he might try that here today. He's getting his Zerglings into position. Kal being a little bit cautioned here. Well, he's pulling his probe back. He thinks he's going to be okay. But if Kwanro should decide to pump all Zerglings or something like that, he might be able to get the surround on the cannons and break through, and I wouldn't put that past Kwanro at all. I see Kwanro is getting his 3rd base up. I think his 2nd base just now going to pop up. I think there's a little scout coming in for Kal, looking down there. Yep, he's going to try to come in and get the full scout. Getting the scout on whether there's a lair or not is the most important part of Protoss versus Zerg these days. Got to find that lair, and then you can breathe easy, because he'll say, "Wow, he has a lair. He's not going to do a big Hydra break to me early, so I'll have time to prepare my army. Okay, Cybernetic score coming up for Kal. Yeah, like I said, Kal has really impressed me, especially with his PVZ. And the more I watch his matchups, the more I want him to play Flash. He will play Flash in the 5th day next week, and I think that is my most anticipated match so far in this round of 16. But here comes the Stargate for Kal, going standard stuff. But, yeah. Oh, that's going to be such a great matchup. Actually, forget what map that's going to be on, but it doesn't matter what map it's going to be on. It's just going to be epic, no matter how you slice it. But okay, Kwanro is getting his lair up. Let's see what he goes for after this. I have a feeling that Spire is going to plop down soon. It looks surprisingly standard from Kwanro so far. Kwanro is a very creative player. He's creative in his aggressiveness. It's just the way he can just push troops in out of nowhere. And yep, okay, not much else I can say about Kwanro at this point. But Kal is upgrading +1 attack for his zealots and whatnot. That'll help him attack that 3rd base later. That's usually what Protoss do on this map. Since the 3rd base is so far away from everything else, they'll send some speed lots up, some +1 upgraded speed lots out there to drill through that base. So Kwanro is most likely going to throw down some Sunkens here soon. I already see him going over there with 1 drone preparing, getting up another hatchery, and the Spire coming up for Kwanro. I don't see the Hydralisk Den yet, so this could be a Mutalisk opening anyway. I'm going to lose that Overlord. Almost supply capped him, didn't quite though. And let's see how many Corsairs that Kal decides to go out with. So Kal has a pretty small army, and he is going for Corsair Reaver, which is what most Protoss players do on this map. Hydralisk Den just now coming down. So let's see what comes out of this larvae. It comes out of the larvae. Kal is preparing for mutas. Yeah, he put down 1 cannon inside of his main. Not completely committed to this because he's thinking to himself, well, he could go for mutas, but most likely not. I did see that Hydralisk Den, so I think he's going to go for that. Scourge are out, so he's just going to use that Spire for Scourge, at least to start out with. No telling what Kwanro can switch into, though. Will the Scourge make it in time to save that Overlord? No, there's no Scourge come in at the right time to take down that Corsair, but looks like Kal falling back. He has 1 cannon just warping in, so he's going to save all of his Corsairs, moving out with a small army at the same time, so he's going to take the hurt to that 10 o'clock base if Kwanro doesn't have any defenses there. Let's see what defenses he has at that 10 o'clock base. They're focusing up there. No defenses whatsoever, just getting up a lot of hatcheries. So he's just going to try to pump enough troops to protect it, but that might not quite work out. He's trying to keep Kal in the middle of the map, which is actually working out for Kwanro right now. But Kal is still committed to a lot of Corsairs. Obviously, he's going to need them, going for the Corsair Reaver build. You got to protect that shuttle. But now I think Kwanro was in the know. He saw that engineering bay, not engineering bay, what? Robotic support bay. That's a different kind of bay, you know.